Welcome to the Healthier Tech Podcast, the show about building a healthier relationship with technology. Now here's your host, R. Blank.
Joining us today is David Woodward, co-founder of Mindsight, a company that designs tools to help people build better habits in today's digital world. Before Mindsight, David co-founded R2P Pet, a company that created innovative pet products for retailers around the globe. After its integration into Cosmic Pet, he began channeling that experience into a new mission, helping people unplug, refocus, and live more intentionally. Welcome to the Healthier Tech Podcast, David.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, no, it's great to have a chance to talk to you again. So the first question on my mind is, explain to me the bridge between dogs and cell phones.
That's a good question. So had this dog toy business for a long time, and like a lot of entrepreneurs, became my life. Spent 24/7 thinking about it, and it was just go go go. And over the course of 10 or 12 years of running that business, I had 3 kids, and the business was kind of my first kid, but I had 3 actual children. And as the business grew, it just became more demanding, and I just found myself giving more and more to the business and unable to really focus on my kids. And so, we were lucky enough to build the business to a point where somebody was interested in acquiring it. And after that process, I kind of reflecting on what I wanted to be spending time on and who with, and obviously kids and family and friends are very important. And with young kids, I just saw them picking up on a lot of the bad habits that I had developed over time, including, getting home from work and looking at my phone every 15 minutes and having dinner, and you hear the alert go off and you go check it. And it's like the training of in society of the instant response just became it's just become such a native reaction for people. And so I was always thinking, like, I wish there was a way I didn't have to use my phone so much. And so after transitioned out of the pet business, was trying to think about ideas for new products. And I love the kind of consumer product space and coming up with problems that solve actual solutions. And basically just came up with that timed lockbox idea where there's a physical barrier to me getting my phone. And it sounds very strange that you actually would need a box to go do that, but it proved very effective. And I made some prototypes and tested it out, and it actually proved effective. And that barrier created the friction that I needed to start using my phone less. And then once we kind of had that proof of concept, I partnered with 2 colleagues that I worked with on the pet side as well, who had a lot of experience online. And we built out this story, and we tried to figure out what was important to people and how we were going to market it, and mental health and mindfulness and kind of reconnecting, I think, is becoming more and more important in today's digital world as people spend more and more time on their phones. And so that's the genesis of it. We went from squeaky dog toys to this timed lockbox, and it's been fantastic, because as great as our dog toys were, I wouldn't say we were solving a problem. We were filling space on shelves, where with our lockbox, we get so much fantastic feedback from people telling us how they've been able to, use the product the way we intended, and then lots of unintended uses, which also have really positive consequences.
That's interesting. Before I do have a direct follow-up, but squeaky dog toys, you are a devil. Yeah, I made that mistake once.
Oh man, we sold a lot of those. We often heard people be like, "Do you have to put the squeakers in them?" I'm like, "Oh, you've got to put the squeakers in them."
No. You as the owner have the choice for your own pick your sanity. So, I do want to ask about these other use cases, because that does sound interesting. But just so people understand, I mean, people know what a lockbox is, but yours isn't just like a cash box, right? It has other features.
It does.
So yeah. So explain what the features are and how people use it for the intended purpose.
Absolutely. So it's a timed lockbox. So the concept is you set the timer on your lockbox for a specific amount of time, anywhere from 1 minute to 30 days. your product could be a phone, could be cigarettes, could be all these other things which we've learned about over time. You lock them up in the box, and the box doesn't open until the timer is complete. So we actually have 3 modes on ours, which is kind of a point of difference from some other ones that are out there. So we have just a standard lockbox only mode. So that might be, you get home, you want to throw your keys in a safe spot. You always put them in the same place. You want them in a secure place, maybe away from your kids. People use it for stuff like that. They might throw their credit cards in there, their wallets. That's just a lockbox. But what our original intention was, and what we really marketed to, is the timed locking features. And so that timed locking feature is about building better habits and basically building your willpower and some accountability to yourself with those habits. So we've got standard mode. Standard mode, you set the timer anywhere from 1 minute to 30 days, but we give you the override code. So you have the security of knowing if your phone is in there, your credit cards, your cash, your cigarettes, whatever it may be. If you really want to get in, it's in standard mode, we give you the code. And that is what we find a lot of people start with, because they get a little intimidated by going to our third mode, which is fortress mode. And fortress mode is really, there's no override. So as soon as it's locked up in there. So if you lock it for 29 days, you cannot get in for 29 days unless you take a hammer to it. And we do offer an emergency override service, which some people take advantage of, but it's really to build discipline and build better habits. So we find, people start with standard mode. They set it for a few hours, and then a couple days later, it might be for 6 or 7 hours. And then maybe it's a couple days, depending on what they're using it for.
Mm-hmm.
But the original intention was really to say, okay, I'm home from work. I'm hanging out with my kids from 5 to 8, and I'm not going to go look at my phone. I'm not going to check it. I'm not going to check Instagram. I'm not going to see who's emailed me, who's, messaged me. I'm just going to, have dinner with my kids, put them to bed. And that was the original use case of it. My kids got a bit older. Now they're up a bit later. And now for me, even still, like, one of the big use cases is locking it up at night so I can go to bed. I mean, how many people out there go to bed and grab their phones and just sit there and scroll for, 30 minutes, an hour?
Yeah, way too many.
Whatever it is. And then, that ties a lot into some of the things that you're involved with, is like EMF too, right? You're lying there, your phone is 6 inches in front of your face, the room is dark, and it's like, that's just not healthy from a mental health perspective, from a physical health perspective. So having that box, for me, the way I use it now is I just lock my phone in it outside my room. And sometimes it comes in if, like, I'm setting an alarm early, or maybe I'm listening to a podcast, but I'll still put it in the box and connect it to headphones sometimes. But just having that physical barrier means I'm not reaching for it to check the news or check sports scores or check, our Amazon sales or whatever the, many distractions that I could wait until the next day to do. So those are the different modes. And that's really what we're trying to help people with, is building those better habits.
So in this, what was the third crazy mode?
Or fortress mode.
Fortress. And you can do 30 days in fortress
You
mode?
can go up to 30 days. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is bold.
Yeah. And that's a commitment, right? And we get some people, and we talked about unintended use cases when we started this, but people are also using this for smoking and vaping to help them quit, help them reduce their reliance on it. And so we are seeing people say, like, hey, I set this for a week ago, and now I'm going to try 10 days, and they're building up their habits, and it's really helping them. So, every once in a while I get somebody that says, like, something's been in there for 30 days. I can't tell you how this has helped me. So it's one of the best things about actually this product is how much we've been able to help people.
Yeah, totally. So, what put this type of product on my radar is actually back in season 2 of this podcast. We had an episode with a guy named Yannick Francisco Smits. If you saw me looking over, I was trying to find the episode, and it was all about his digital wellness regimen. He's European, and he was telling us about all the things he did, and then he mentioned putting his his phone in a time safe.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time, that was the first time I'd heard about it, and I thought it was a fantastic idea. And we talked a lot about what the experience was like for him and how important it was to his mental health. But so it's been a few years that I've known about this kind of product, but there aren't. You mentioned there are some other companies that make products like this, but there's not many.
No, there's not many. There's a couple a bit more focused on, I'd say, food and snack related stuff.
Okay.
And then there's, as you know, well, once you start doing well on Amazon and online, there's a lot of copycats that come out and try and,
Yeah.
Copy you. But I think when you're copying somebody and you're inauthentic in why you're doing it, the product experience doesn't end up being as good. So, I mean, I have all those ones because I test them and just see what they're like. And I feel strongly like ours is the best, the easiest to use, and makes the most sense the way it works. And we've expanded into different formats too. So we just recently launched a small one that you can take to work, because some people were saying, well, I want to bring this to work so I can focus on productivity, but it's so big. So
right, yeah. So the listeners know your main one fits more than just one phone.
Correct. Our main one fits about 4 to 5 phones, depending on the size of the cases. Some people have those massive cases, but it generally fits around 4 to 5 phones. But we saw a lot of demand for people wanting to bring them in their car for distracted driving, bring them to work, bring them on vacation. So we launched one that now holds just one phone, and it's just targeted on phone use. We are likely going to be launching a larger one for laptops and iPads, video game controllers, because we were getting, people are saying, hey, I wish I could put this in it. I wish I could put that in it. And, we're also contemplating like a kind of an ultra version with no override codes. And I think that's something, and I'd love your feedback at some point too, is where we'd also look at EMF as well, where it's probably a metal box. And it's a bit more secure, because some people are writing in and saying, hey, I can break this. Like, I could take a hammer to it. I could get in if I had to. Do you have anything more secure? And it's
people who know their own limitations.
It's so fascinating, the psyche of consumers, just seeing like what they will do. And I handle a lot of the tickets that come in to request emergency overrides. And some people just flat out tell me like, I need it for this, I need it for that. And some people say, I wish it was harder to get the code. I wish you guys didn't get the code. In fact, we started a little while, we can add your name to a list where we block your email and we don't give you the code. And we've got over 150 people on that list who write in and they say, I know myself, I know what I'm using this for, I don't want the code, add me to the list. And so anyway, it's just been a fascinating journey.
Yeah. So because you mentioned the code, so people you don't include the code with the product.
For Fortress Mode, we create friction. You can get it from us by contacting an emergency support line, but it's not easy to do, but if you have to get in, you are able to get in for the most part.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, you mentioned cigarettes, you mentioned, I forget what else, but you mentioned some other use cases, but what are and you talked about some that you use cases you aren't meeting yet, like video game controllers and iPads, but what are some of the more surprising use cases that your current version, you're hearing your customers use it for?
For sure. So I would say digital kind of detox screens, phones, number one use case for sure. And that's primarily how we market it, but we see a ton of use cases for quitting smoking, managing cigarettes, vapes, weed, kind of smokables, I would say. And we kind of knew that was there, but I'm not sure I realized it was going to be such a large part of the market. We see cash, credit cards, spending. So we actually had an amazing review the other day from a woman who'd bought our new phone lockbox, a smaller version, who was bringing it to the casino with her to put all her winnings in, because she said, if I kept my winnings in my pocket, I will spend them and I will lose money. But whenever I win, I put money in the lockbox and lock it. Never thought that was a use case that we would encounter, but it's awesome to hear that she's doing that. So spending is one. There is an element of people using it for medication, either to keep it away from their kids or their pets. The other way they're using it, which is also interesting, is because it's a timed feature. Often people don't want to think about, what time they have to take their next round of medicine. So they just set the timer, right? So if you take something every 12 hours, they just set the timer for every 12 hours. They don't have to think like, oh, I took it at 7:30 and I take it again at 7:30. So there's a whole group of cohort of people using it for timed medication as well. And then, even for more addictive substances, there are people using it for that. We don't market it around that, but we definitely have seen a bit of that. And again, that probably would lead us a bit more into the kind of ultra lockbox area where people really don't want to get in, and we need to make it even more secure.
So is there an alarm that goes off?
There's no alarm that goes off, no.
Okay.
But that is something where with this ultra version, just creating as much friction as possible and really making sure people can't get in.
Yeah. So you just talked about a whole bunch of different use cases, but the product is called a timed phone lockbox. How do you think these people are finding your product, and how do you approach marketing, right, to so many different use cases and people?
So when we launched our first one, we targeted, we did call it the timed phone lockbox on Amazon. We've subsequently changed our original one to just timed lockbox because of those different use cases. So we didn't want to get buttonholed into just phones. And so, when we do market it, we show all the things you can use it for, whether it's, candy or smokes or vapes or phones. Our phone version is quite a bit more targeted on just the phone lockbox. That is really where we are.
The new smaller one.
The smaller one, exactly. And when we do the larger one, we'll probably focus on the larger items as well. But we are trying to segment them a little bit so people kind of have their choice and have the kind of a la carte, like all the sizes, all the options.
So you've expanded your catalog beyond just lockboxes, yeah? So how do you feel about the products in your catalog now that you have, and what do you think beyond the lockbox product line? What are other ways in which you feel that physical products can aid a digital wellness journey?
So it's a great question. We have launched an item called the Breathing Buddha, which again is I would say, physical product for a digital world. So basically, what it is, it's a silicone light, and there's a whole world of science around breathing and breath work, and I think that's becoming a lot more prevalent in today's world, and how breathing can help calm your mind. It can, calms your heartbeat, can reduce stress and anxiety. So as we're thinking about product lines, it's like, okay, well, you're not using your phone, you're acting with intention, you're able to focus and, talk to the person you're with, or read the book, or think about work without all these distractions. And so we came up with this concept for the Breathing Buddha to help, again, focus your mind and calm your kind of system. So again, you can act with intention, you can think with clarity, and you can focus. And so what that is it's a light, and you just follow the colors of the light change, and you follow the colors of the light with your breath. So when the Buddha is blue, when it's green, you inhale, when it's purple, you hold, and when it's blue, you exhale. We've got a bunch of different breathing cycles. There's box breathing. There's a 4-7-8 cycle, which the Navy SEALs use to help them go to sleep at night. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. And instead of having this be app driven, you got to download an app, you got to connect via Bluetooth, you have to look at your screen. It's just a product. You can put it on your bedstand, you put it on your office, you put it in front of you. You do these breathing cycles 3 or 4 times a day. And again, we've had just a fantastic response to that, because people don't need to engage with their digital devices to use them. And that is definitely one of the ethoses of our product development, is like, how do we provide people an off-ramp to just use the product to calm their minds, improve their mental health, give them that focus and clarity. So when we think about product development, we think about stuff like that. The response for the Buddha has been awesome. We're number one on Amazon for meditation accessories, meditation devices, stress and anxiety, all sorts of keywords like that. Um, we've launched a kids version called the Slow It Down Sloth because a lot of people were buying it for their kids. Kids get upset, they're having a temper tantrum, put them in front of the sloth, calm them down, maybe calm the parents down as well. Teachers, counselors, we have school boards buying it. They're using it at Calm Down Corner in their classes. So again, just it's like weaving in the physical solutions in the digital world for us is really important.
That's super cool. Yeah, I'm a big fan of breathing exercises. We've talked about it on the show before. Lately, I've actually to me, breathing exercises, they're still very useful, but they were also more of a gateway drug to meditation.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't willing to get into meditation until
And
I did breathing for a couple of
yeah,
years, and then I'm like, okay, I'm ready.
you're ready. Yeah. And so, one of my partners, Andy, is very into meditation, but a lot of people, they close their eyes and they go, oh, like what, I don't know what I'm thinking about. This is stupid.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. So like breath work is step one. And one of the reasons we made this Buddha light up and stuff and with the guided lights is so people can do open-eyed meditation. Cause we do find like you shut your eyes, you don't know where to focus, you don't know what to look at. And then some people's thoughts just start going. So by giving them that anchor point of the light up Buddha, it's giving them a place to look and something to think about, but not think too much because all you're doing is breathing.
Yeah.
And so our hope is like, well, people start with this, and then similarly to you get maybe a bit further into meditation, and then you act with more intention, and you think about planning your day, and then you're living mindfully, and all of that to us is what we want customers to do, because there's only positive benefits in doing that. And ultimately, like, we want people to be able to be happy, and if this can help, that's what we want.
Yeah, and I love your design decision to not involve the phone at all in that product, because a lot of the products that are sort of similar use cases,
Yeah.
in fact, all of them that I've seen, I mean, recently, obviously, if you go back 20 years, it'll be different. But of
Yeah.
all the recent products, they're all designed
They're all
to
fun. Yeah.
to
They're all
work with your
phone.
phone.
They're all
Yeah.
phone related. I mean, and I have some for my kids. Like I'll put them on at night, and they'll use the Slow It Down Sloth, and it's great. But I've tried lots of other ones, and I have to link. They don't have phones, but I have to link my phone to play I don't know, a story or a meditation at night, and then I'm like, oh, my phone is in the room. Is my kid gonna grab the phone? What type of behavior is that am I reinforcing? And so for us, I mean, we all had young kids in there. It was just very intentional to just make it a product. You can put it there. You don't need any bells and whistles. You push a button, it works. Do it a couple times a day, and that's all you need to do.
That's super cool. Yeah. And I mean, everyone's going to be different, but I mean, from my personal experience, breathing exercises really work. They work instantly,
Yeah, they do.
which is what's amazing. And then they
Yeah.
work better if you build the habit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I pretend like I do them every day, but I'm trying to get there. But they really do help, and I mean, I try and do them in the middle of the day if I'm busy or I'm running around. Just like a couple minutes just recenters you and gives you a moment
Yeah.
of pause and can help you just kind of recalibrate. So
Yeah. If I
it's very,
notice I'm getting really stressed, like if I'm working, but something is going on
yeah,
that maybe I got an email I didn't like, or I
yeah,
don't know. And I just start noticing these physiological reactions in my body. I'm like, okay, can I take 10 minutes here? And
yeah,
then I go and do it. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
You mentioned your kids don't have phones. Have you thought about at what age you're going to break down?
So so I have three kids. My eldest daughter's going to grade 9. She just got a phone. So I will say
Okay.
we did break down. No social media. It's really just Spotify, and for her to she's at the age now where she's going to do stuff on her own and out with friends and taking the
Yeah.
bus and stuff. So those are kind of our rules right now. And one thing I would say that's encouraging, and I don't know if it's her cohort, but I would say it seems like the pendulum is swinging a bit away from phone usage so much. Like they seem to be more conscious. I think probably because they look at honestly, like myself and my wife, who are slaves to our phones, and they hear about all these people saying how bad it is to use your phone all the time, and you check your phone 150 times a day, and like you just shouldn't be doing that. So I'm 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 hopeful the pendulum is swinging a bit the other way. And it seems to be with them, at least at this age. The other two don't have phones; they're a bit younger, and so I'd try and hold off to the same age.
Yeah, no, that's good. And ninth grade is good. You've done really well based on. I don't have kids, but I talk to a lot of people, and
Yeah.
this comes up, and
Well,
so
I bought a flip phone a while ago to kind of prove to them, like, oh, that, flip phone is all you need.
yeah,
There's just a couple apps that you kind of need to have, your credit card, your like the big one for me was parking. Actually, I couldn't pay for parking in a lot of places, and then sometimes like if it's Uber or whatever, and then I'm calling a taxi, and anyway.
yeah. No, for me, it's Waze. Like
Yeah.
I can't use a phone without Waze.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I
there's a
mean,
couple. There's a really cool company called I think it's called the Light Phone, and it is.
yeah, we've had him on
Oh
the
yeah.
podcast. Yeah,
Oh
I
cool.
think that came out, I think, earlier this year or late last year. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're on like V2 now. It's really cool though. I mean, it's a yeah. I mean, you obviously know it's a basic phone plus a few essential apps, which is really cool.
Yeah, yeah. And we just launched, I don't know if you're on my email list, but we just launched this week, as we're recording this week, a couple of cell phones in the store, one of which is designed with mindfulness in mind. So
Oh, cool.
it's an e-ink screen. It's a completely customized operating system. So it comes with some apps like maps and calendar, but you can't install anything it doesn't come with.
That's cool. That's awesome.
So
I love
yeah.
that. Okay, I'll check that out. Awesome.
So someone's here listening to this show. It's obviously something they've been thinking about, but they haven't taken the first step, and buying a physical product isn't going to be their first step.
Yeah.
So what's a small step that person, based on your actual lived experience and your interaction with real customers, what's one small step that they can do that's accomplishable and that will show them results and hopefully motivate them to take a second small step?
Yeah. Good question. So I mean, I think depending on, where you're at in stage of life, but I'd say if you have young kids or that is kind of your end of day routine where you want to be focused on your family or friends or whatever, just put your phone in a drawer from 5 to 7. Doesn't need to be locked. Put it on silent, put on do not disturb, just put your phone in a drawer for 2 hours, have dinner with your kids. Go for a walk the dog. Not call a friend. See a friend. But make that just make that
19th century meaning of call on a friend.
2 hours. Like the work email can wait to be answered. No, like the world's not going to end in the 2 hours you don't have your phone. So and conversely, if you're 19 and you don't have kids or whatever, I would say put it in a drawer when you're going to bed, or half an hour before you want to go to bed. Like, don't get into bed with your screens and scroll for an hour and a half, and because it's endless. Like the internet is endless, and if you're on social, it's endless, and it just feeds you more and more of what you want, and it looks good and it's enticing, and you see all these incredible things on social media, but it's to me it's like you're never going to get it, you're never going to have it, and those are just habits that become worse and worse over time. So just put them in a kitchen drawer. Start there. If you're feeling good, put them in for 3 hours, put them in for 4 hours, put them in, on the weekend, and just like build that muscle.
Yeah.
And if you can't, and you need a bit of help, try a lockbox. There's also a lot of phone apps out there that kind of brick your phone. I think there's actually one called Brick. It's a pretty cool product. It just requires you to use your phone a lot to not use your phone.
Yeah.
And the phone is still, I mean, it's funny. There's a similar product to ours called Kitchen Safe, which is a bit more focused on food and snacks, and it's transparent. And a lot of people prefer our product because it's not transparent. They
I was going
can't
to
see
say
what's
for
inside.
food, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's
It's
kind of
like,
like torture.
hey, hey.
It's torturing.
Yeah.
So with ours, it's not transparent. And so I think one of the issues, and I've read this in the app reviews because I often look through them, is people say, well, I've bricked my phone, or there's another one called Opal. But my phone's just sitting there and I can see it, and I'm watching a movie, and so again, it's like that's going to work for some people. You need to pay a subscription fee, and you need to decide what apps you want to be able to use and not
Yeah.
use and stuff. So it's cool, and if it works, I'm all for it. I mean, if that's your solution, great. For me personally, and I know for certainly some of our customers, they like it. It's out of sight, out of mind. It's in the drawer. It's in the box. It's locked up. I mean, even some people write in and they tell us, like, as soon as I hear that motor go and lock it, it's like a sense of relief because they know they're off duty for 2 hours or whatever they've done, for however long they've locked it for.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. And if people don't, there was a phase not too long after COVID where I felt like my relationship with my phone wasn't like super good. And I remember this feeling when I just decided one day to keep my phone far away from
Yes.
out of sight when I'm watching Netflix.
Yeah.
And I just realized like instantly how much better it was to watch TV
Yeah.
when I couldn't even see my phone. I'm not talking about using it. I'm saying if it was on the table in front of me versus in the kitchen,
Yeah.
the
100%.
TV show was so much more enjoyable.
So much more enjoyable. I mean, I'm guilty of this too. I put a movie on. I mean, the phone isn't, the iPad's open in front of me. I got a phone. It's like I have 3 screens going, and my kids always say, like, watch the movie. Are you watching this? Oh, I'm watching this, but I'm reading news. Like, I don't, and so again, I've really tried to be more intentional with this, even for watching a movie. Like, I just go put my phone in the box. I don't even set the timer sometimes. I just use lockbox only mode. I just lock it up, and then I just know, like, I got to go watch that movie, and I need to build that muscle. And so totally agree with you. If your phone is in front of you, you see it flicker on, oh, somebody's texted you, and emails come in, and you're like, I got to check it instantly. But we've just been trained that way for the last while, and we just don't.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. Well, David, thank you so much for taking the time to come join us here on the Healthier Tech podcast. And I know about your products, but I love the opportunity to have a nice in-depth conversation with you. For those of you who are interested in the Mindsight timed lockbox, the phone lockbox, the breathing Buddha, you can go to shieldyourbody.com/mindsight and use the code MIND10 to save 10% off of your order. And you can learn more about Mindsight by following @Mindsight now on Instagram, but don't do it at night. Only do it during the day. So that's @Mindsight now on Instagram. Both of those links are in the show notes, as well as the direct link to the Mindsight website. David, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. I'm really glad to know you and to be able to offer your products in my store.
Awesome. It's been great chatting with you, and loved every minute of it. And hopefully we can chat again as we launch some more products and see if we can collaborate on something fun.
That'd be fantastic.
Awesome. Take care.
You too.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Healthier Tech Podcast. Remember to check the show notes for all the links and resources we mentioned today. If you enjoyed the show, please like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or on the platform of your choice. And if you're ready to take control of your tech environment, head over to shieldyourbody.com to explore science-backed tools that help you live a safer, healthier life in today's connected world.